Well, good afternoon, guys. I am still in Utah right now on this April 29th, but I'm in the Logan area. So, I already do most of my stuff in northern Utah, but this is much more northern Utah, about as north as you can get actually while still being in the state. This is a Millville Canyon, and I'm here just to make some couple of videos here, among other things. I'm going to be in this area of the state a bit more frequently than I normally am, which is almost never, for reasons I don't really want to get into. I'm trying to take the opportunity to make some videos whenever I'm up here and just talk some more about the plants we can find. Hopefully there might be some different things, but I'm thinking a lot of it's just going to be more of the same stuff. This is a classic right here. This is it Rhus aureum or some other species of Rhus? Anyways, Rhus aureum, that's just a great species of Rhus. Really delicious fruit. No spines or thorns or any nasty stuff like that on it. Nice fruit. Did I already say that? I know I did. I just need to repeat it twice. It's not quite in bloom here. Now, Logan, the sort of Cache Valley area, I think it's about 5,000 feet above sea level, so it definitely runs behind Salt Lake City, in the Salt Lake Valley, Utah, Ogden. You know what I mean? That sort of area along the Wasatch front in terms of when things start to bloom and leaf out and go to sleep each year. But it's like it's notably further behind than I would have imagined it was. Now, I should be clear, this has been I mentioned earlier, I'm sure all you guys know that we've had a very record-breaking heat wave in March, led to an extremely early spring, but since then it's been a lot cooler this April with more precipitation, thankfully. So, it won't be enough to save the Great Salt Lake or any of the reservoirs, mainly Lake Powell this year, but it's making a very dry situation slightly less dry overall. And as a result, I think that now we're still running ahead of where things normally are in spring in Utah, but not nearly as much as before. More like just 2 weeks ahead as opposed to nearly a whole month ahead of schedule. We've still got Acer grandidentatum mostly leafed out. The mighty, well, not mighty, but great Bigtooth Maple you see around here. Oh, this is a great tree. That's what I'm saying. It's great, and it really is. We got some Lomatium species. I wonder if this is Lomatium grayi again, or some other one. I'm pretty sure it's a Lomatium. It doesn't seem like it's too big to be most Cymoptera species. And all the feathery leaves. I don't think it's graveolens. I'm pretty sure it's just grayi, but if not, I'll figure it out. That's going to be one of my homework assignments and see if I'm right or not. Yeah, it's got the, I don't know. Yeah, it's some nice kind of mountain brush habitat, but a bit further north than what we normally do. So certainly far enough north that we could get some different plant species and substantially different perhaps, but I'm guessing, as I said, it's mostly not going to be. Got a nice field of leafless Rhus glabra. That sometimes tricks people into thinking it's spreading, invading Ailanthus when it's really not. Rhus glabra is a species of sumac mostly found in the eastern United States, but has a few disjunct populations in the west, of which one of the most notable is along the Wasatch front and down the sort of spine of Utah's mountains. They often get really small like this. Yeah, that definitely seems to be Lomatium gray, not grayi, gray, although I think if you're really pronouncing it properly, it'd be gray anyways, if it had two eyes or not. Who cares? Anyways, I found this sort of rocky area with some rocky scree kind of plants growing on it. Or not necessarily scree plants, because you find a lot of these elsewhere. But in addition to a lot of the Lomatium gray, you got all this Berberis or Mahonia repens growing on the ground, a classic of this type of habitat, one you also find growing in much more amenable conditions as well. And we got this vine growing all over the place too, which is the, it's got to be a Clematis, ligusticifolia. There's several species of Clematis here. I thought it might be Clematis columbiana or occidentalis first, but I forgot that, oh, this is a more common when you see at lower elevation, so I'm guessing that's probably what it is. Fortunately, it's not blooming, so that's what led me astray here. But it's just crawling all over the rocks here, which is kind of interesting. See? So glad there's not any myrtle spurge here. That's a plus for this place. Oh, I do know there's some in the Cache Valley. It definitely has escaped here in some areas. And there's a lot of flies too. Interesting. And we got, how could we not have Prunus, virginiana, and these foothills? Super widespread species. These ones look like they're starting to wrap up blooming and are getting ready to produce fruit. Some ones I saw earlier on the trail actually had mostly white flowers and weren't even fully opened up yet, which is a bit curious. Well, maybe it is, I don't know. But yeah, that's what we got here. Again, very common plant all over western United States, all over eastern United States. I guess it might be the only native Prunus to Utah though. Oh, except, well, of course, there's Prunus vesiculatum, the desert almond, which I neglected to make a video on when I was in St. George recently, which is a bit of a shame, but whatever. You can't always get at them all. But look at that. Got some interesting pinyon juniper up there. Well, maybe just juniper, actually. Let's check it out. Oh, just like the Wasatch, all of the, we might call pinyon juniper here is actually just juniper forest because there doesn't seem to be any pinyon pine at all. Should be Pinus sedula. It's probably more likely Pinus monophylla would be the one you would find growing here if there were any, but there doesn't seem to be any. And like they're completely absent from the Wasatch, at least the central Wasatch as it would seem. I guess the northern Wasatch as well, which is a little interesting to say the least. I'm trying to figure out what this plant is. Oh, I think, is this another Rhus trilobata maybe? Oh yeah, it definitely is. Looking really worse for wear, I'd say. Seems like it's very, like the ones we see in Salt Lake County for the most part. At least most of the ones I see are all super leafed out, really happy. I guess this one maybe just hasn't fully started yet, leafing out. It's got some progress to do. So it might just be a not so great location for it. Seeing a lot of it, I'm pretty sure is alfalfa, which is that Medicago sativus on the ground. I'm pretty sure that's what all that is. Just a sign this place has maybe had some prior use. I just remember evidence of like use by humans, or just I say humans, use by people here earlier, like maybe homesteading, like some apple trees. Well, that's maybe really a question for the history books. All the juniper trees, did I say it was Juniperus osteosperma, the Utah juniper we're seeing around here? Well, I haven't, that's which one it is. It's almost always a species you see in Utah. Seems to be kind of almost all dead at this location. Further up on the hills, they're doing all right. What else here? Right, I'm gonna head back down. Hopefully that wasn't too shaky. Well, I guess some things are going to be constant no matter where you go, such as invasive species, and we got quite a lot of it here with all this, I think, Arctium minus species of burdock that is invasive in Utah, as all burdocks are, but not native to the state of Utah. They're shaying out a lot of the sort of native species you might find growing here, like the, well, this is Claytonia perfoliata, or miner's lettuce, growing in the space between the leaves. Nice native annual member of Montiaceae. I like looking at it a lot, it's really cool looking. And of course it's edible. It's named miner's lettuce. And this Hydrophyllum capitatum. A Ballhead Waterleaf. I hate that name, Ballhead, it's really stupid. There's one back there with more flowers, trying not to step on anything important as I get to it. Yeah, how nice is that? I think they try and act the way a lot of wildflowers that grow in forests in the eastern states do, which is they basically try more or less to just grow when it's sunny in the forest, which really the only time that's possible is before the trees have leafed out. So in this case, it'd be before Acer grandidentatum leaves out. But there, of course, it's a whole big diversity of tree species that they have to deal with. But anyways, they try and grow, bloom, develop, and then go back to rest before they're shaded out. So because it's an interesting niche to sort of carve out. And of course, in these forests, there are shade-tolerant flowers that can grow during the summer and autumn. But yeah, I mean, just look how much crap there is here. And I don't even need to talk about the dandelions, do I? Of course, we also have this thing here. Keep my notes already, but I think it's Lamium implexicale, which admittedly does have some nice pink flowers, but it is a non-native member of Lamiaceae. That apiaceous looking thing right in center there might be native, however. I don't really know for sure. But yeah, what a calamity this forest is. Oh well. I think burdock might have been brought over for its use as a food source. So if I see some dyers wood, I'm able to talk about that as well for an ethnobotanical lesson. I mean, I have seen some, but if I see some again, I mean to say. Just had to get off the trail to let a truck go by, which you might be able to hear. It's really struggling on this road, but I did notice this guy, which I think is Commandra umbellata or umbellatum. Either way, it's a member of Santalaceae. That's quite widespread in North America, actually. You can find it fairly far north, I think into Minnesota, in the eastern states, for instance. But so it's obviously a bit of a parasite, so I'm not sure what it's parasitizing, though as you can tell by its green leaves, it's not an obligate parasite. So interesting sort of thing here, but oh look, we got some juniper galls too, it'd seem. Just on the ground. Interesting. Anyways, I'm not seeing a whole lot of other interesting things yet. Like I said, this is a bit early to see good things in bloom, I feel like. Dang, hope it don't come rolling back down over me. I'm sure they're not supposed to, I feel like they might not supposed to be driving up here, but anyways. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot that is even different from what you might find in the Wasatch at this elevation, unfortunately. I mean, the Lomatium gray, you definitely don't see that much in the Wasatch. I've seen some Lomatium dissectum, which I've not been able to show you guys yet. Oh, it might just be a Cercocarpus montanus. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on the only other thing I think it could be is Amelanchier utahensis, which it does look a little bit like, but I think the one way to tell them apart is that they have short shoots. It makes you think it might be montanus, but a Cercocarpus, I mean, so I'll have to check that later. But anyways, not a whole lot else. That's super unique and interesting, though. You know, there might still be some mysteries to find and uncover in these mountains. Like, it wasn't that long ago that Stephanomeria occultata was discovered. Like a new species of Stephanomeria, it only grows in Weber Canyon, I believe, or one of the canyons around here. I mean, not this far north, but between here and Salt Lake City. Yeah, it only grows in that region, described in 2018 by Blake Wellard, who was actually a co-worker of mine for a little bit. But I've regrettably not kept in contact with him. It'd be kind of cool to go find that species. I really want to try and obscure its location if I did that, but until then, I guess. I might be heading back because this is not the most interesting place, though. I may revisit this area as well on one of my trips back to Logan at some point. Those mountains should look nice, don't they? Oh, you got a nice view onto the Cache Valley as well. Yeah, and all the flora here, I'm not surprised hasn't been that different. The Cache Valley, I believe sits between the Wellsville, which is almost like a northern extension of the Wasatch. It might as well be considered that. But the Wellsville Mountains out there, and the ones I am in, which are the Bear River Range. Yeah, that's the one. The tallest point, I think, is Mount Naomi or something like that. Anyways, there's a fairly large chunk of wilderness, which is very cool and I like to explore. But either way, more or less, I think very similar flora to that of the Wasatch. I think you start to get lodgepole pines once you get into these mountains, however, which is really neat. Because you can find some in not really southern Utah, but well, east into the Uintas. I think once you get into the Deep Creek Range, you start getting the lodgepoles again, which I would love to see more of. Now that's really cool. Hope I don't get dumped on hiking down from here. Well, I guess now I got all the interesting things out of the way, I can talk a little bit about some channel news. I'm at 390 subscribers currently and getting close to 400, of course, and then soon 500. And yeah, I'm really happy about that. But it's obviously still a ways away from monetization, which I would like to try and do if I get to that point. I mean, I don't see anyone wouldn't want to do that, but it's definitely not exactly on the table for quite a while. But I do want to try and get some better filming equipment for this, because the last major investment, or really any investment I made in the quality of filming, was purchasing the microphone I currently use, which was a really big one, because fixing up the audio, not relying on just like hair tying a towel to the sensor to reduce the wind. Really, it's just about reducing the wind. That was the biggest problem with not having a microphone for so long. But not having to do that anymore has been a really big plus. And then the year before that, which is the year I started actually in 2022, I got this Nikon D750, which it certainly I think is in some ways better than filming on an iPhone, but it turns out is not a great camera for filming on, sadly. So kind of a swing and a miss there. And it was quite expensive, though. It's it's been 4 years. I certainly have money I could spend on a new camera, but I just not sure I want to do that yet. So I might be getting a better lens soon, hopefully. One that's better for filming. I can use for more macro shots and video. Because right now I'd have to use my iPhone to do that, which honestly isn't so bad, but it's really could be a lot better, unfortunately. But yeah, that's sort of where some things stand, if anyone's interested in that at all. So look at that, we got an Aureum capitatum, a western wallflower. It might just be the thumbnail for this video. Just a member of Brassicaceae. It's got those 4 petals. I'm sure it's got the right stamens if you look at them. And of course, another one you see commonly in the Wasatch, we got Lomatium dissectum over here. How nice. There's its inflorescence, the compound umbel that is so characteristic of Apiaceae. Going around this nice juniper tree. Okay, heading on. And how could there not be some Balsama rhizosagittata growing here? And the wind's starting to pick up. I think I might be getting rained on if I stay out any longer. Which I won't complain about. It's my fault and we need it, but I still don't want it, you know. One more thing to talk about, which is probably the most common invasive I'm seeing around here. This is Esatus tinctoria, also known as direwoad. It looks like it might be a member of Apiaceae, but it's actually in Brassicaceae, the cabbage mustard family. Now, these striking yellow flowers are certainly a very distinguishing feature of it, but for the longest time it was not known so much for its yellow flowers, but for the blue dye found within, I can't remember which part of the plant, but it was for the longest time the biggest source of indigo dye in medieval Europe. And I think even later into the Renaissance era as well. And in fact, it's not like an inferior dye to indigo, it's like the same chemical compound as you find in indigofera species and Fabaceae, which are I think more commonly used for indigo now, or maybe they synthetically make it. I don't know if they still have to harvest indigofera species for it, but it's the same compound, nothing inferior about it. So for the longest time it was used to make blue dye, and it was no doubt brought here for that purpose. And has since gone feral and is now a bit of an invasive. Oh well, thanks for watching and see you next time.